Financial G-Spot. I'm Robyn Crane on the Whatever It Takes Network, and welcome. So it is the holiday season, and I'm here. I got to celebrate with you because my brother just got engaged. Yay! Very exciting for us. We love the girl that he's with, and we're actually here in Brooklyn in her apartment. So we're enjoying the holiday season, and I wanted to bring some special guests out. So in a minute, you're going to get to meet them. But first, I want to tell you this. Your money beliefs dictate your financial future. What do I mean by that? Whether you're rich or poor, whether you're stressed out or you feel great about money, that has everything to do with your beliefs. But your beliefs are just made up. You got these beliefs somewhere, from someone, someplace, somehow. And it's so important to get clear on what those beliefs are, so that you can actually shift them. You can choose your beliefs instead of just defaulting to whatever they've been for decades possibly. So I know one of my beliefs growing up was that I won't have enough, like I'll never have enough. I mean, I used to have major money issues because I would get super stressed about money. I really didn't want to spend a lot of money because I had this underlying fear that I'd run out. And so I would hoard my money, and I just hated spending it. And I remember this time when I went out to dinner with some girlfriends. It was probably, I don't know, a decade after high school. And I had some money, but I was just nervous about spending it all the time, especially on things that I didn't value. And we went to this restaurant, and the whole time I was worried about splitting the check. So I was like nervous and concerned, and I was looking at the menu, looking at the price, wondering, oh, how much is this going to be? I don't know. I don't want to spend a lot of money. I don't know if I have enough. And so anxious. And so worried that I didn't even enjoy myself. And through experiences like that, I realized that it really wasn't benefiting me. And I'll tell you this, look, your beliefs are serving you. They're serving you to some extent. They're definitely serving you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have them. But your beliefs are also holding you back. So what I'd like to do is show you where some of my beliefs came from, not to blame anyone or to put it on anyone else, because only me, I control my life. I control my destiny. Yes, these are beliefs that can be changed, and I am really proud to say that I love the New York life. I'm really proud to say that I was able to shift those beliefs because I focused on how it was holding me back as well. And so I want to bring out my parents today, introduce you, and then I'll have one other person, a couple other people to introduce you at the end as well. So stay tuned. They're coming right up so you can learn and start to think about where your beliefs come from and think about what you want to keep consciously and what you'd like to shift so that you can have the financial future you want. Because as you shift your beliefs, it'll also shift your behaviors, and that will completely alter your financial future, as long as you want it to. So here they are, the people to blame for all of my problems, my parents. Yay, the crack goes well. So I wanted to bring you here because there's so much that I have gotten positive from you as far as my money beliefs that have really shaped who I am and that I'm able to help, thousands and millions of people out there. So I want to thank you for that. And I just wanted to share with people out there, where my beliefs came from. So I'd love to hear, I know some of these things, but I'd love to hear it from you. So Dad, why don't you start? What's one core belief that you think you had, like growing up and even that has translated throughout your life?
I think value.
Okay.
I mean, I think when I buy something, I want to make sure it has good value in what I'm getting.
Can you give me an example? Like, does it make you excited when you buy good value? Does it make you just like you only will buy if it's good value?
Well, when I buy something, I look for good value, and if I buy something the next day I found out it wasn't good value, it really upsets me.
Yeah.
Why did I pay so much for something? But if I buy something and it turns out it's good and worth what I paid for, it makes me feel good.
Do you remember the time that you went to, I remember this very well, and it wasn't even that long ago, probably within the last 5 years or so. Do you remember the time where you went to a flea market and you bought this special shampoo?
Yeah.
Can you tell us that story?
I'm not sure which part of it you want me to tell.
Well, the part that excited you.
I found the shampoo I wanted at a flea market. Why? I don't know why. I don't know where you're leading me.
What I remember was that you came back, you had gone to a flea market, you came back and you were like, oh, we went to this flea market, it was great, and I got this shampoo this big for $4, and usually you go to the store and you get it this big for the same price. Does that ring a bell at all?
Yeah, of course.
And you were giddy and excited about it.
I don't remember being that giddy.
Yeah,
excited,
well, that's how I saw it.
Was.
So, it might be a different perspectives from everyone. But I remember that you got very excited about it and actually reminded me of my husband, Trevor, because he gets so excited. He'd go to the store, maybe a thrift store or something, come back with 3 pairs of these really nice dress shoes for $5, and he'd be celebrating. I'm like, wow, I see the similarities between you. But that's, I think, exciting because it was something that you would celebrate. But can you think of a time, and Mom, don't worry, you'll get on here too. Can you think of a time where you really did feel anxious about money, like a lot of anxiety or worry because of it, and maybe something small?
Yeah. Well, no, big. It's the first house I bought.
Oh.
I mean, I was, and this goes back 40 years, and when houses were a lot less expensive than they are today, and I was paying $110 a month rent, and we bought our first house, and we're going to go up to over $300 a month mortgage payment.
That would be nice. Okay, so we have to go to a break in a sec, but I want to hear, when we come back, more about that story and how the anxiety really felt for you, and you'll get to hear from my mom as well. So you are watching the Financial G-Spot on the Whatever It Takes Network. I'm here with my parents, and we'll see you right after the break. Welcome back. This is Robyn Crane. You're watching the Financial G-Spot on the Whatever It Takes Network, and I'm here with my parents. This is Mike and Elaine Harris, my folks, here to share some stories about money beliefs. So my dad was just telling you that he can remember a time when he had the most anxiety, or a lot of anxiety at least, about money. The most, when he was paying rent $100 a month. $100 a month, and going from 100 to 300, tripling his rent, or to go to a mortgage. So tell us more about that, Dad.
Well, I had always lived in apartments my whole life. My parents had always lived in an apartment, and Elaine, my wife, said,
mom?
Yeah, your mom, had always lived in a house, and she said we should get a house, and that's what inspired me to do that, or got me to do that, and it was I just couldn't believe that I was going to have that much of a financial commitment for the next 30 years.
What do you remember, Mom, from that?
Well, I remember 2 things. One, it was my idea because we had inherited some money from his uncle who had passed away, and we were lucky.
How long had you been married at this point?
So about over a year.
No, we definitely over a year.
Notice how she said we inherited the money. Something
So his uncle passed away, had no children, so we inherited a community property estate. I think it was $14,000. And I said right away, that should be a down payment for our first house. And he said, well, what do we need a house for? And I said, what do you mean? I always lived in a house. We always had a house, and we're going to have children someday. So of course. So I had to I didn't have to convince him, but I did make my point that this is how I'm used to living in a home. We had an apartment when we first got married. That was okay for the first year, but not what I wanted for the rest of our married life. And so once that was spoken and he was convinced, and that was how we did it with down payment from his uncle's will and our inheritance, then he was a nervous wreck because he actually broke out in a rash all over his body, and he was like, ah! So he was so nervous, and he was like and I saw it a little bit when we bought cars, but not to that extent.
So, and how did it go? Did you ever struggle with that? Was it ever a problem?
No, we worked the way through. It worked out fine, and 2 years later, we sold that house. We were fortunate to live in Silicon Valley where houses were appreciating quickly, and we sold that house, and we bought another house, which was like $80,000, and it was no sweat, just signed the paper.
The second time? Really?
Second time was no sweat. I wasn't nervous at all because I saw the result. We got by it the first time. I was making a little bit more money, and the house had appreciated, and we now had developed some good equity in the house. So it really, the second time was easy as pie. And then third time, 10 years, 20 years later, I couldn't believe how much I was signing for, and it was
Right.
snap.
It went up quickly.
I think I talked him into that one too, come to think of it.
So, Mom, how would you say your, I wouldn't say personality, but your beliefs about money are very different from Dad's?
Well, they are very different. I don't shop expensively. That's fine, but I do buy a lot and often.
So just so you know out there, my dad likes deals, right? You like to shop inexpensively, but so what you're saying is you're similar in that way.
Yes, because
But you do
growing
like to
up,
shop.
when my mother would go into the store, she would breeze in with me like, whoosh, and she would say, "Oh, there's nothing on sale. Let's get out of here." And I would be like, shopping was the most nerve-wracking thing I did with my mother. I mean, there were a lot of things that
I can totally relate to that.
very nerve-wracking because it was like 2 seconds in and 2 seconds out.
For other reasons.
If there was a sale, we'd stop. We would try on. We'd get the outfits for the beginning of the school or the Jewish holidays or whatever. But it was like breeze in, breeze out. Nothing there. Get the heck out of there. So shopping was never a fun thing. That you go, you shop, you have fun, you schmooze, you have lunch. No, it was like in, out. Come on, get this thing done and over with. But over the years, I've had my own fun with shopping, and I used to shop Macy's, I used to shop Nordstrom's, and as I got into being a preschool teacher, I said, what do I need? Expensive clothes for glue and paint and everything. So I would shop inexpensively at Mervyn's or TJ Maxx, Ross's, Marshall's, whatever. But I love outfits and clothes, so I would have, the earrings to match the necklace that would match as you see here, right? I mean, everything matches, even
not wearing red shoes though.
Yeah, no, because
your jewelry.
Yeah.
Yes,
So bottom line is, these are things that I like, and I don't mind shopping inexpensively in terms. I think this was J.C. Penney's, and making a thing for J.C. Penney's. But bottom line is, I still love getting lots of outfits and everything matching. So whereas Dad, when I was not working, except in the house as a mom, I'd come home, and I think in those days I might have even shopped at Nordstrom's or whatever, and he'd go, "Another pair of shoes? What do you need another pair of shoes?" So then I got to the point where I'd kind of sneak in and throw it in the closet really fast when he wasn't around. And then finally I said, this is ridiculous, and our youngest was going into first grade or kindergarten, and I said, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to have my own little money so that I can buy shoes and not run into the house and sneak it in. So that's what I did. I was a preschool teacher for 20 years, didn't make a whole lot, but everything I made was my money. And it was like, what was ours was ours, and what was mine was mine.
This is something very interesting about growing up, is that it was always, my dad was the breadwinner. He made good money, very good saver, very conscientious, obviously was focused on value instead of just buying a lot. Whereas my mom just loved to shop, but still very focused on value as well, very always into getting sales and shopping for discounts. But my dad's money, the money that he brought into the household, was their money. As my mom would say,
Absolutely.
it was our money. And then when my mom started working, she had her stash, and it was her money, or as she would say, my money. Right. To this day, my mom still will take us out, probably yesterday this happened, take us out to lunch or buy something and say, just so you know, this is on my account. This is my money.
When I bought the gift for Phoenix, I said, this is from me.
Right,
Didn't I?
right.
But that's, but that worked out, I would say, perfect for us. So some couples work it differently. Let's say there's only one breadwinner, right? Then you say, okay, well, I make X, and then this part of it is yours to spend on clothes or whatever you want to spend. They take it out of the one person's salary. So this essentially did the same thing. So instead of me having to give money out of the money I'm bringing home so Mom can go buy clothes and say, okay, well, you have X amount. She knew she had X amount because that's what she earned. Right. And she bought, she would buy too many shoes, of course. But
never.
But you didn't. You kind of stopped the judging. It wasn't that big of an issue.
I didn't think about it. And then she also is a very generous person, like say buying things for the children. But not only that, she would give a lot to charity and stuff like that.
So you each kind of had your role. So
okay.
Again, you're watching the Financial G-Spot, and I'm Robyn Crane. I'm going to keep my parents on for a little bit longer so you can learn what challenges they might have had. Welcome back. You're watching the Financial Juice Spot on the Whatever It Takes Network. I'm Robyn Crane. I'm here with my folks, Mike and Elaine, sharing some of their money beliefs and stories with you. And I want to get to the juice of it. And, you know, one of the things my dad said is that he buys things on value. What's important to him is that he really looks at the value, makes sure that it's worth it. And if he gets something that's a good deal, he'll feel great about it. If he buys something and then later feels like it wasn't a good deal or wasn't a good value, then he feels terrible about it. And I definitely adopted that behavior and those beliefs because I do not, I mean, I especially in the past really did not like buying things that I didn't value or care about. Now I'm much more, I've forced myself to be more abundant because I recognize that there was a lot of anxiety and worry associated with that. You know, I mean, buying something and then feeling really guilty about it or feeling like it wasn't worth it. I mean, I don't know about you, Dad, but I would take, like, I remember just having like knots in my stomach sometimes when I would spend money on things that I didn't find worth it. Did you experience that?
Not, it wasn't traumatic. It's just more, you know, just irritating kind of thing.
So, which is interesting too, because I mean, you know, obviously you're not your parents. You get these beliefs or you might have these similarities to your parents, but you ultimately make these decisions and you ultimately decide like what life is going to be like, whether it's conscious or unconscious. And I definitely took that to an extreme, seeing that like, oh, what I got, the message I got was, you know, buy things that you value. And I took it as, and if you don't value it, feel guilty, feel bad, have negative emotions associated to it, anxiety and worry. And that's obviously not something that my dad consciously taught me.
But didn't I tell you to buy more for yourself?
And my mom, on the other hand, she would take the opposite approach, you know, and you said you now and then even love to shop. I know you mentioned, I never knew that story about going in with grandma and like being whisked in and whisked out.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that I hate shopping. I never liked it.
That's true.
But for me, what I don't like about shopping is, one is I don't like to spend money on something I don't value. So then I feel like there's anxiety about, do I really value this? Is it worth it? But also I just don't like making those decisions. You know, even today, my husband will bring clothes to me to try on because I don't want to go and choose and pick, and then I'll put it on and he'll tell me, you know, oh, that looks great or that doesn't, it's worth it or it's not. So he helps me make those decisions. But yeah, I definitely, I think, adopted more of Dad's beliefs, but you both were very similar in the value sense that, you know, you still like good deals, you like to buy
right. But I also want you to buy things. And here's
still
a girl that doesn't want to shop. And I think that sometimes getting the newest fashions, and you have such a beautiful figure, I want you to show it off. So I'm like, you know, when you tell me, oh, I don't need it, I'm saying, yeah, buy it.
Okay,
looks good
so
on
I'm going to cut you off.
Yeah.
So thank you. And I'm going to go shopping right after this. But can you tell me, since we're having a little too much fun here, obviously I've had anxiety and you're not sharing much, but what stresses you guys out about money or within your relationship and the dynamic about money?
Well, one of the things after 43 years of being together, you do adopt the other's attitudes or you clash. And most of the time I'm pretty easygoing and it's like, it's not that important. I'm not going to get in a fight over it. I started working so that I could spend my own money on my own things, and that worked out really well. But sometimes, and Dad knows that, we've gone to Paris, and then afterwards I said, gee, I wish we had one good restaurant that we went to that I could say, oh, I understand why they're talking about how great French food is. Because we didn't do that. You were young, we had a bunch of
So what happened though? So you went to Paris after the fact, you came back and then got mad at Dad for not going out to nice food.
So Dad has subsequently said to me, don't go away from a vacation and tell me afterwards we should have, could have done something. Tell me now. If you want to go to a fancy restaurant or you want to go to this, that, the other thing, tell me now and do it.
So how did you guys fight about that? How did you respond to that? Did you feel like that was your responsibility?
No, I was glad to hear that because I've been doing that. I've been like, oh, I guess it's not that important. And the problem was just recently we were in Italy and it was so stupid. There was this big cathedral in Siena, which everybody, as I'm reading in the guidebooks afterwards, I should have gone inside. And it's like Dad said to me, oh, I don't want to go inside. It's whatever it was, how much it was. And so I kind of went, oh, okay, I won't either. And then afterwards, I'm reading about these 36 architects.
Wait, but you said, I said to you, you should go in and see it. I'm not interested that much in cathedrals. You should go ahead and do it.
Right. And then I said, oh, I guess I'm not. I'm kind of all cathedraled out. It was at the end of the trip where you see a lot of churches and stuff. But afterwards, after reading about it, I went, oh, stupid me. For how many coins was it?
So, stupid me. Another thing that I got from my mom was this belief that I'm stupid. And my mom, as lovely as she is and as wonderful as my upbringing was, my mom definitely said things like that. Stupid me. I'm not smart like that. Or I'm stupid. Or go ask Dad, because he's smart about those kind of things. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because your money beliefs, even if it's not about money, your beliefs, even if they're not about money, can affect your money. And not that I really had issues thinking oh, I'm so stupid when it comes to money, but I definitely was held back in a lot of ways because of this belief that I'm not smart. And I'm not bringing that up to blame you, but it's interesting, just again, to take responsibility. You can get one little thing from something your parents say, and then it could, I wouldn't say pave the path for your life, but have a huge influence on the way you act and react throughout your life.
Well, some of those things are just expressions, but bottom line is, you're right, there's probably a subliminal or subconscious thing going on here. But I also said to you,
yes,
you're much better than I am.
Yes, that's true. She would always say that. But, your beliefs are so unconscious. It's not something that you think about. But, Mom, come on. Did you used to think that you were stupid about certain things? Like money, let's say? And that it wasn't your thing, and that you shouldn't handle it, and that maybe someone smarter in that area should take care of it?
Yeah, well, Dad, math major, MBA. My father took care of me. My husband took care of me financially. It was kind of like a role model that I had. And still to this day, my money, I get my Social Security check, and I ask him, how much do I have left this month?
So, Dad,
and I could do that. I should be able to do that for myself.
So Mom's very happy about this, it's no big deal, Oh, yeah, I had a man to take care of me my whole life, which, by the way, I think I unconsciously adopted that to a certain degree, but I was actually, as you know, I was single for 10 years, so I didn't have a man to take care of me. Obviously, my parents weren't taking care of me anymore, and I was single, so I had to go make my own money and pay my own way. But when I finally got in a serious relationship, I was kind of secretly hoping that I could, have a man to take care of me. And
but the times they are a-changing.
The times are changing.
They're not like that anymore. And I did learn that one of my friends whose husband killed himself over money and not having it, I did learn, and Dad is trying to pull me out of that whole mindset to be more responsible and to take more charge of what I have and what, like when my parents died and we inherited, he asked me to be involved in how we were going to spend that inheritance. And it wasn't like, okay, honey, you do it. I appreciated that, and I do appreciate the fact that I should be, I'm not sure if I am, but I should be more conscious of what we have and what my job in the money issue is, rather than having somebody always take care of me. You're right.
So I know we're low on time, but I'm going to keep going. We can go a few extra minutes, because I do want to know from your perspective, Dad, how was that a challenge for you? Because I remember from my perspective growing up, there are definitely conversations, especially as I became a financial advisor, where you were trying to get Mom involved and to be part of the decision making. And even though you probably even thought yourself, you've always been good with money, but you probably yourself even thought, I want her involved, even though, it's not necessarily going to help me make, I don't know, what did you think instead of me putting words in your mouth?
Well, in the recent past, this really hasn't been much of an issue. But when we first got married, we would have, before Mom was working, we would have a certain income with our family, and she would want to go buy certain things. And I said, I think we should hold back on that. I don't think we should be spending our money on that. And we would get into arguments, probably like most married couples, or disagreements, and we weren't throwing dishes at each other or anything that serious, but we would, it would be hard for me to get Mom to accept no when I'd say, no, I don't think we should do that. And when we got to one point, and I know Mom is not into investing. I mean, she doesn't follow the stock market. It's not an interest of hers, or investment in other things, and I accept that. So we got to a point. I said, okay, if you think it's so easy, you can manage the household money. And I said,
You told her.
I'll put the money in the account, and you can, you know, I'm still working, and I mean, I'm working and making a decent salary. I'll put the money in the account, and then you can just write all the checks and do that.
Yeah. So what
And
happened?
she said, you're much better than I am.
I didn't want to.
She didn't want to. And she said, you're much better than that.
Did that shut her up?
No. I mean, it didn't solve anything, but I said, I'd be glad to give you that. And her answer to me was, you know, I said, why don't you do it? He said, you don't really mean that.
And I didn't think he did. Because really, truthfully, control in terms of money is
But
more
I did
your
mean
thing.
that.
I don't believe it. I
to
don't
this
think,
day.
I still don't believe that what if I were screwing up? I mean, you would be...
Well, you would come to me for help, but I'm
No,
saying
you wouldn't
that...
really want me to have that. I don't believe
See
it.
those eyes roll?
Uh-huh.
I would absolutely wanted you at that time to do that. I didn't want you to manage the investments, because I knew you had no interest in that and no training in that, and you would not learn that. But to decide, gee, we make X thousands of dollars a month, and we have to pay so much for our mortgage and so much for the groceries, and just manage that, I would have been more than happy to let you do it.
And in my thinking, it was still a control issue that you really wouldn't have turned that over to me.
So you heard it here, folks. After 43 years, they're still fighting about it, but they still seem to be just fine. So here's the takeaway. You inherited some beliefs about money from your parents. And the great thing is that you get to choose. There's some that are still serving you, and there's maybe even a part of a belief like, value. It's still serving me. I like to save money. So I like that I look at the price and decide if it's worth it or not. I don't necessarily want to get rid of that. But when it came with anxiety and it came with worry and it made me nervous and have a scarce mentality that I am showing my own daughter and expressing to my own daughter by my actions, that's when it becomes a problem. So what your job is to really get clear about what those beliefs are, how they're also holding you back. And then you can just decide, well, what do you need to shift? Like, what can you do to change it so that you control your destiny? You decide what your financial future is going to look like instead of just defaulting to whatever beliefs you inherited. So thanks for watching again. Glad you got to meet my parents. Did my brother just come in?
Yep.
You can meet my brother real quick. Alan! Hey guys, come on and say hello.
Hi.
There's my brother. There's my brother Alan and his fiance Ryan.
This is Beyonce.
So we just decided they're going to have a whole episode. So make sure you tune into the next episode with my brother and his fiance to find out what issues they're concerned about or what questions they have for me. For your money beliefs and how you can help yourself right now, I'm going to give you a little gift. You can go to robyncrane.com/free book.
What?
Yes, you can have one too.
I'm good. I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Free, can't
this is
argue
my
with
brother,
free.
older brother, always giving me hell. robyncrane.com/free book, how to overcome your money issues in 10 easy steps. So I will see you next week. Again, you're watching the Financial G-Spot.
We'll do it in 4 steps, but for the rest of you, 10 steps.
On the Whatever It Takes Network. See ya. Have happy holidays. Welcome to my family.